Chanel number 5, Eau Première. This is the number that really got me to understand where number 5 was coming from, because I just didn't get it. Some of the classic perfumes that come before your time, sometimes it's hard to relate to them because they just come from a different culture, a different sensibility, and with Chanel number 5, I always associated it with my mother, and it was her dress up perfume. And so Chanel were very clever, and they came out with a lighter, sheerer, more transparent version of it called Eau Première, and just to hook in the newbies, and it really did hook me in. This is a very beautiful, rosy, jasmine-y fragrance. It's light and it's fresh, and this is another summer scent for me, or if I want to remember summer, I spray that on. Sandalo by Etro. Beautiful sandalwood fragrance. Sandalwood is tricky because it really is hard to find in the wild anymore. It's been over harvested, and it's a protected species. So it's hard to know whether, when you have fragrances that advertise sandalwood in them, it's really difficult to know whether it really is Mysore sandalwood from India. But this certainly has a lot of the qualities that proper sandalwood is supposed to have, and that it's very it blends in with the skin. It's very has kind of it's an interesting, like, there's a almost kind of a sour bite. It's like sour, and then it smells very it melds with the skin. There's a gorgeous quality to sandalwood where it really, it's one of those your skin but better fragrances, and it is a base in a lot of fragrances for that reason. It kind of is the bridge between these kind of higher, shriller floral notes, and it really makes it meld with the skin. What do I have left? Oh, look at this lovely lady. Miller Harris Fleur Oriental. This is the pure Parfum, and I love that it comes in this gorgeous little bottle with this very glamorous cube of crystal. And this fragrance makes me so happy. This is a modern interpretation of Shalimar. It's definitely picking up on the this classic Oriental combinations of oh wow, oh, I smell really good. It's a classic Oriental of top notes of light citrus, and then it dries down to glorious incense and florals. And I've just realized that I put it on top of tea rose, and it smells really good. Those two things. I've just discovered something here. I'm turning into a little bit of a mad scientist. Those two things are fantastic. Wow, look what I just found. Serge Lutens Ambre Sultan. Ambre Sultan is a really weedy, I always think of this as smelling like weeds in the hot sun. It's a very grassy, herbal smelling amber. Wow, look at it go. And it's a very dense fragrance. Oh, it's incredibly dense. It's a really intense amber. And for some perverse reason, I love wearing it when it's really, really hot, because then it just kind of, I feel anointed with these really, really dense, intense weeds and herbs, and it kind of makes it max out, which I love. I like, if you're going to do something, you might as well overdo it, right? Oh, Aveda Yatra. I went through a phase where I wore this a lot, and then I stopped. But here it is in my collection still, because I like to go back and revisit things. Aveda is great because they are an all-natural line. So if you're concerned about having things that are organic and all-natural in their fragrances, Aveda is a great line. They do beautiful, nuanced fragrances, which are kind of hard to do with with all natural ingredients. It's kind of a limited palette. This one is, again, a mixture of patchouli. I like patchouli, I guess, in my fragrances. I hear myself talking. And there's rose in there, and it's very, it kind of has a masculine quality to it. I like that. I don't like to be too fruity tooty, niminy piminy with my fragrances. I like them to be bold and to say something for themselves. I like a perfume with a point of view. What can I say? Oh, Christian Dior Diorella. This is one of the classics in my collection. It came out in the early 70s, and there's really nothing like it in modern fragrances. Perfumes now are really loaded up with a lot of fruity smells, and they're very sweet, like the contemporary ones that come out for teenagers are often just strawberries mixed with cotton candy and fruit. And this was back in the day when there used to be a lot more fragrances with oak moss in it. And oak moss gives perfume an interesting, it's like a cross between, it's not quite musky, but there's something personal about the smell. And I really don't understand how something that grows on a tree can smell like a woman's body or smell personal or sensual. But there is that quality in Diorella, and it's underneath a really fresh, bright start. So you start off smelling, very kind of sporty, and you think, oh, this is a very light, summery fragrance. And then the longer it wears on your skin, the more dusky and sensual it becomes. And I love that little changeover. It's got a split personality. Aha! This is Youth Dew Amber Nude by Estee Lauder, and it's a modern reinterpretation of the classic Youth Dew perfume. Youth Dew I always associate with my mom. It was another one of her signature fragrances, and when Youth Dew came out in the 50s, it was totally a kind of prowl, woman on the prowl fragrance. Sorry, Mom, not that you were on the prowl, but the modern reinterpretation of it makes it almost a little bit more masculine. It reminds me of Serge Lutens' Ambre Sultan, in that it has that kind of vegetation in the hot sun smell to it. So there's amber in there, and then there's also those kind of Coca-Cola spices that I associate with Youth Dew, and there's also this grassy weeds in the hot sun quality. It has a nice little waistline too. Oh, Clarins Eau Dynamisante is a fragrance that I wore solidly for 3 or 4 or 5 years. I had every iteration of this, the oil, the lotion, the shampoo, the cupcake frosting. I mean, if they came out with it, I bought it. And it's very invigorating, and it's got a lot of citrus in it and herbs. I think there's, oh, that's a nice little spot of Eau Dynamisante. There's definitely herbs, and could be a little woodiness in there, patchouli. And that was my signature fragrance. That was back in my naive days when I would only do one bottle of something at a time and just use that up. I mean, that's crazy. That was before I had my little issue that I'm dealing with right now, which is my inability to commit to one perfume. I have a problem. Well, I've shown you the extent of my issues with perfume, and I'm kind of hoping you'll make me feel better by posting a response video with your collection, so I don't feel like I'm the only weirdo that has a slight overindulgence problem with perfume. So show me your perfumes. I want to know. I just want to know that I'm not the only freak out there. I'm Katie Puckrick, and I really smell. Trisha wears number 5, but you don't wear